methods for notifying next of kin and for bringing those responsible to justice. These protocols reflect not just the professionalism of our state's law enforcement agencies, but also, as the governor said, the pervasiveness of our country's gun violence problem. We can and we must continue to tackle this problem head on, and we must treat it like the public health crisis that it is. We recognize that we must simultaneously address the root causes of violence while also taking swift action against those who break the law. And while we have made important strides in this effort in New Jersey, events like Saturday's shooting remind us how much further we have to go. Before I turn it over to Colonel Callahan, who will provide additional details about the incident, I'd like to take a moment to thank our law enforcement officers who are working around the clock to figure out what happened and who's responsible for this deadly tragedy. I want to especially thank our state troopers who first responded to Saturday's shooting. While hundreds fled that party, while hundreds of partygoers ran from danger, our state troopers ran towards it. They did that like they do each and every day. Their bravery, their hard work, helped to quickly restore order and allowed medical staff to treat the wounded. Their actions also remind us how lucky we are to have such a well-trained and professional state police force, and how much we rely on them to keep us safe during moments of crisis. With that, I want to turn it over to Colonel Pat Callahan, the Superintendent of our New Jersey State Police, for additional details of this investigation. Pat?
Good morning. Thank you, General, Governor, Prosecutor. I'll just go through some details with regards to this shooting. Earlier on Saturday evening over the weekend, our troopers responded to a party at 7 King Drive in Fairfield Township regarding noise complaints. It is our belief that that party ultimately broke up around 11 o'clock at night, and some of those partygoers dispersed, and some of them then ended up at 1029 East Commerce Street in Fairfield. Shortly after 11:30 on Saturday night, we had a trooper who was just completing a motor vehicle stop in the area and heard what he thought was fireworks or gunfire. That trooper immediately responded, as did troopers from both Port Norris and Bridgeton Station. And at the same time that was happening, the 911 dispatchers started receiving phone calls with regards to the shooting. What we learned, as the Governor and Attorney General discussed, that this was a birthday party that had turned deadly, with a total of 14 people shot, 2 of which succumbed to their injuries. Many of those who attended the party, and even those who had been shot, had already left the scene when most of law enforcement responded. They were and continue to be treated in local hospitals. Since Saturday evening and continuing this time, state troopers, our Troop A Criminal Investigations Office, Major Crime South Unit, Cumberland County Prosecutor's Office, State Police Crime Scene Investigations, and members of the Regional Computer Forensic Laboratory have responded to investigate. I'd also like to thank Bridgeton Police Department, the ATF, and although they have not supported the effort, one of the first people I heard from was the FBI Special Agent in Charge, George Crouch, offering any and all assets from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. In addition to processing the crime scene and doing an inventory of all the ballistic evidence that the Attorney General mentioned, witness interviews are still being conducted, digital evidence is being recovered, search warrants are being executed, and forensic evidence is being analyzed. A number of firearms have been recovered from various locations, and as the AG stated, one individual has been arrested, and we do anticipate additional arrests. At this juncture, to take you even through some additional details, I introduce Prosecutor Webb McCray. Prosecutor.
Good morning, everyone. I am Jennifer Webb McCray, the Cumberland County Prosecutor. I would like to thank our Governor, our Attorney General, and our Colonel for all of the support they've given to our community during this very trying time. I'd also like to thank my Commissioner Director, Joe Durella, Mayor Ben Byrd, Committeemen David Gonzalez and Tommy Clark, and Mayor Albert Kelly for the support that they've given during this time. On 5/22/21, in the late evening hours, 14 lives were changed forever. 2 individuals lost their lives, and 12 more individuals were shot, with several remaining in dire condition. We've mentioned the names of the victims who are deceased. However, there are 12 other individuals whose lives have been changed forever. To preserve the integrity of the investigation and to protect the privacy of the shooting victim survivors, we are not releasing their names at this time. However, I can tell you that the victims range from 19 to 35 years of age and all live within our county. They include both men and women. We mourn the loss of life and the senseless violence. We send condolences and prayers to the 14 sets of family and friends, which obviously amounts to hundreds of people who have been affected by this tragedy. While we mourn for those affected, we remind the community that we need their help in bringing those responsible to justice. It has been estimated that there were over several hundred people at the subject party. We are appealing to anyone who in the community who was at the party, anyone who may have taken pictures or video, anyone who may have witnessed suspicious activity after the shooting, to come forward and share that information with law enforcement. We all have a role to play in restoring safety and security to our community. It starts with bringing those who are responsible for these senseless acts of violence to count for their actions. Anyone with information may communicate it through our tip portal, which can be accessed at www.njccpo.org/tips. Once again, they may share it at that tip portal, and it may be shared anonymously. I too would like to thank all of the investigators and all of the cooperating agencies who have been working tirelessly since this event occurred. I can report, as a result of the cooperation from the community, the investigation has led to one person being charged and taken into custody. Yesterday, on Sunday, 5/23, Kevin K. Dawkins, age 36, of Commerce Street, with a Bridgeton mailing address, was arrested and charged with unlawful possession of a weapon, a second-degree offense, unlawful possession of a large capacity magazine, a fourth-degree offense, certain persons not to have a weapon, a second-degree offense, and possession of a weapon for unlawful purpose, a second-degree offense. Mr. Dawkins has been lodged in the Cumberland County Jail. The state will move for detention pending trial. In closing, I want to remind everyone that there are resources for anyone who is experiencing trauma as a result of this incident. Members of the public may reach out to the State Mental Health Cares Hotline at 866-202-4357 from 8 to 8 p.m. 7 days a week, or go to their website at www.njmentalhealthcares.org. We also have a credible messenger program in Cumberland County, which has been interacting with those affected by this tragedy. And finally, we have an army of chaplains, many of them crisis intervention trained, who stand at the ready to help individuals in our community who are suffering from trauma. If anyone needs additional help, please reach out to our office at 856-453-0486, and we will point you in the right direction. You will be getting a copy of the charges before you leave today.
Jennifer, thank you. Pat Gerbier, thank you. We'll take a couple of questions.
Governor, do you believe that there is any nexus or connection to gang violence? And also, does this mean that there is a shooter or multiple shooters that are still on the loose? What do we know about how many, and is there a gang connection?
I'm going to defer to the folks closer to the ground.
I would just say at this point, due to the nature of the ongoing investigation, that that's not confirmed at this point with regard to your question around gang affiliation.
Do we know if Dawkins was the only or to be a shooter, or were there other shooters they were looking for?
Jennifer, do you want to?
At this time, Dawkins is charged with unlawful possession of a weapon and possession of a weapon for unlawful purpose. However, numerous interviews are being done, and we're